Oh, are you doing magic? Let's see then.
Please, but,
For example, Oculus Reparo. I'm Hermione Granger.
She was Hermione Granger, the brightest witch of her age. But Emma Watson's real-life story? Way messier than the movies ever showed. In 2017, one photo nearly broke the internet, not for what she said, but for what she showed. A glimpse of her chest in a high-fashion shoot set off a media firestorm. Then came the leaked private images from a clothes fitting. Curious what they looked like? Let's just say she went to court for a reason. And behind the fame, she felt trapped, caged by Hollywood. And no, she didn't get along with everyone on set. All of those secrets, they're in this video. Stay tuned. You're about to see a side of Emma Watson you've never seen before. 1. Role in Harry Potter and cultural impact. She wasn't the chosen one. She wasn't the comic relief. She was the one who read the fine print, raised her hand first, and saved everyone more times than she got credit for. Hermione Granger, as portrayed by Emma Watson, changed what strength looked like on screen. Smart, driven, unapologetically intense. Hermione gave a generation of girls permission to take up space with their intellect. When Emma Watson was cast in 2000 at just 10 years old, she was the only one in the trio with no prior professional acting experience. But the moment she spoke, the energy was unmistakable. Her Hermione was all edges and empathy. A girl who wanted to be the best not out of vanity, but because she believed knowledge was power. Through each film, Watson brought depth to the role. She showed us a girl who loved fiercely, fought tirelessly, and made being clever not just admirable, but essential. Hermione became a cultural landmark. She was the antidote to the damsel trope. Critics praised Watson's growth across the series, from an earnest, fast-talking first year to a calm, commanding force in the final films. Her performance wasn't loud, but it lasted. And for millions of fans, Hermione wasn't just a character, she was a lifeline. But long before Hogwarts, Watson's world looked quite different, quieter, smaller, and full of unexpected beginnings. 2. Early life before Harry Potter. Emma Charlotte Duéré Watson was born on April 15, 1990, in Paris, France. Her parents, both British lawyers, divorced when she was young. By the time she was 5, she had moved to Oxfordshire with her mother and younger brother. Life in the countryside was steady and structured. Books filled the home. Curiosity was encouraged. Still, the family split left an emotional imprint, one that Emma would later describe as shaping her sense of independence. As a child, she was bright, articulate, and unusually focused. Not content to simply read a story, she'd memorize lines, mimic voices, and perform in school productions with a level of control and precision beyond her years. She wasn't outgoing in the traditional sense, but when she was on stage or reciting poetry in competitions, something clicked. It wasn't fame she craved, it was expression, clarity, a sense of self. She trained at the Stagecoach Theatre Art School on weekends, building her confidence. And when the casting call for Harry Potter reached her school, a teacher recommended her for an audition. She was young, eager, and untested. But she had something even casting directors couldn't define: presence. That first audition led to a role that would dominate her childhood, and for a while, her entire identity. 3. Career before and after Harry Potter. Prior to Harry Potter, Emma had never acted on screen. She went from school plays to global stardom in a single leap. Her first performance as Hermione won near-instant acclaim. Audiences and critics alike saw something special: a young actor with instincts well beyond her experience. As the films progressed, so did her command of the screen. By the final installment, she wasn't just holding her own, she was leading scenes. Once the series ended, Watson made deliberate, measured choices. She took time away from acting to attend Brown University and later Oxford, studying English literature. Her return to film wasn't rushed. She chose roles with purpose. Sam in The Perks of Being a Wallflower, Isla in Noah, Belle in Beauty and the Beast. Each role signaled a different intention, from indie cred to global musical fantasy. She also stepped into voice acting and production, appearing in Little Women, and producing documentaries related to gender equality. Watson wasn't interested in quantity. She pursued range, message, and meaningful work. And though she never sought awards, she earned steady respect for bringing intelligence and grace to every project. But behind her polished career was a young woman quietly pushing back, trying to reclaim ownership of her life, her image, and her freedom. 4. Personal life, off-screen truths. Watson's fame came early, and it never really let go. As she entered adulthood, she began to feel it closing in. She said publicly that she often felt caged by her acting career, confined by schedules, roles, and the constant weight of being the good example. She began stepping back not because she lost interest, but because she wanted something more, space to grow beyond what the world expected of her. In 2017, Watson faced public backlash over a Vanity Fair photo shoot in which part of her breasts were visible. Some accused her of contradicting her feminist principles. Her response was firm and clear. Feminism was about choice, not modesty. But the incident revealed just how closely and often unfairly her choices were policed. That same year, Watson pursued legal action after private images from a clothes-fitting session were leaked online. Though the photos weren't explicit, the violation was real. It was a reminder of how little control public figures sometimes have over their own privacy, even when they've done everything right. Despite the challenges, Watson has remained thoughtful, grounded, and direct. She's spoken openly about the emotional toll of her fame, but also about the joy she finds in advocacy. She helped launch the UN's He-for-She campaign and became a high-profile voice for gender equality, education, and sustainability. Her personal relationships remain largely private. She's described herself as self-partnered and doesn't lean into celebrity culture. She lives simply, travels quietly, and surrounds herself with people who value purpose over attention. In a world that once asked her to be perfect, Watson chose to be honest. And that shift, from icon to individual, has only deepened her legacy. 5. In 2025, where is she now? At 35 years old in 2025, Emma Watson remains a compelling, if occasionally elusive, figure. She's taken a step back from acting in recent years, not as a retreat, but as a reset. She's been developing creative projects behind the scenes and remains involved in environmental activism and social impact initiatives. She occasionally appears at global forums, film reunions, or university events, where her voice still carries weight, measured, intelligent, and always considered. She's not interested in being everywhere. She's interested in showing up when it matters. While her acting career may not be front and center, her cultural presence remains steady. Documentaries revisit her impact. Fans still cite Hermione as a foundational character in their lives, and her speeches continue to circulate online, often gaining new meaning with time. Emma Watson may have grown up under pressure, but she grew up with purpose. She redefined what it meant to be a child star, then quietly redefined what it means to step away. And though her face will always be tied to one of fiction's greatest heroines, her voice, measured, brave, and resolute, is entirely her own.